Good morning, this is Nella J, and welcome to my channel, Nella's Nest. I'm going to be sharing a reading from the Psalms. Now, if you're not aware of the Psalms, it is a book in the Bible that was written by David. And David was, most people know him for slowing Goliath as a boy, but he's someone who was brought a very, very long way from being a shepherd boy in the fields to being a king, a powerful, courageous king. But along his journey, he had many, many challenges, and there were times when his life was in imminent danger. And so he found solace in nurturing his relationship with God and intimacy with God. And so I'm going to share with you one of the chapters from the Psalms, Psalms 139. And I'll tell you a little bit of how I came to use this chapter as something very comforting to me as a Muslim who converted and came to Christ. There were a lot of times when I felt alone, and a lot of times when I felt in life in general that I was unloved, even believed at one point that I was cursed by God. And my spiritual life coach, she gave me a list of scriptures, and this is the one that stood out to me the most. So I'm going to share this with you and then just share some of my personal insights. I'm not here to convert anyone. I'm not a minister or an evangelist. I'm just going to share my insight, and then you take from it what is relevant to you. Psalms 139. For the minister, director of music of David. You have searched me, Lord, and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. You are familiar with all my ways. This channel is about healing from trauma. And some people may be healing from childhood trauma, things that happened years and years ago, but are still harmful to you in present life. Some people may be suffering and wanting healing from something that happened to them in their adult life. Whatever your case is, right, you have to know that God knows you. If you believe in God, whether you're a Christian or a Muslim, if you believe in God, you know that He knows you. And so, and He knows all of your ways, right? If you are having trauma responses in your life, then you have ways of behaving. You have ways of reacting, and ways of maybe even numbing yourself from pain. God knows all your ways. There's nothing that you can hide from Him. Before a word is on my tongue, you, Lord, know it completely. You hem me in behind and before, and you lay your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you're there. If I make my bed in the depths, you're there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there, your hand will guide me. Your right hand will hold me fast. There are a lot of references in the Old Testament to God's right hand and God having a right hand. And if you're a Muslim, you can relate to this, right? Because Islam teaches about God having a right hand and being on the right hand, right? You're that there's the right side is the side of goodness, the side of righteousness, and so he's saying here that God, your hand guides me, you hold me with your right hand. If I say, surely the darkness will hide me and the light become night around me, even the darkness will not be dark to you. The night will shine like the day, for darkness is as light to you. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. And this is another thing that, as a Muslim, you can relate to, because the Quran speaks about the womb and the child as it grows in the womb, and the angel that comes and blows life and so forth, right? And so just knowing that God knew you, that he created you and he knew you from every stage of your development, even in the darkness of the womb. And this reminds me, when my daughter was born, I have a biological daughter and I have a bonus daughter. And when my biological daughter was born, she had surgery at 9 days old. 9 days old. And the surgeon who performed the surgery on her bowels, because her bowel system had to be rerouted and everything, and the surgeon that performed the surgery on her, he was an amazing man. He used to do surgery on babies that were inside of the womb, in utero surgery. And I remember one time I was watching TV. My daughter was like 4 or 5 years old, and I'm watching the news, and there he is, Dr. Flake, and all of these children that he had done surgery on while they were in the womb, they were all like having a party, and I called my daughter in the room, like, look, that was your surgeon, So even in the place where God created us inside of the womb and our mother, like we were in a place of darkness, a place that was hidden, but God knew us. He knew us. So this really flies in the face of any idea that someone might have that, oh, I'm alone in the world, nobody understands me, because that's when you're healing from trauma, or when you're carrying trauma, when you're carrying unresolved trauma. Someone hurt you, someone may have abused you in a way. Maybe you experienced physical abuse, verbal abuse, sexual abuse. And oftentimes, there's a tendency to feel that I'm alone. Nobody understands, right? But I want you to know that not only are there plenty of people who understand, but God understands, okay? So let's continue with verse number, let's see, where were we? Verse number 13. Let's start from there, because there's something else I want to share. For you created my inmost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. I'm going to say it again. I am fearfully and wonderfully made. You have to believe that about yourself. You have to believe in your own goodness. I remember when I was like going through the eye of the needle. I mean, I was having a real hard time, really depressed, really dealing with even suicidal ideation, like thinking, why am I here? Why did my mother even have me? Okay, it can get that bad. If you've had it that bad, okay, I want you to know that you're not alone, right? And so someone, a good friend who prayed with me, she used to say this to me. She used to say this to me. She used to say, you are wonderfully and fearfully made. You are wonderfully and fearfully made. That God created you with a purpose. And you are not alone. You are not cursed. You are not dirty because of something someone did to you. You're wonderfully and fearfully made. So let's continue. My frame was not hidden from you. What I was made in when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth, your eyes saw my unformed body. All the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. How precious to me are your thoughts, God. How vast is the sum of them. Were I to count them, they would outnumber the grains of sand. When I awake, I am still with you. When I awake, I am still with you. So I want you to get in the practice, like I had to do, of realizing that you are always in the presence of God. You just don't recognize it. You just don't acknowledge it. You just don't tune in. You got to be tuned in. You see, it's almost like, a radio station, right? I don't know if you're old enough to know what a radio station is. You might know what a TV station is. You got to get tuned in. You got to change the channel. You got to change the channel from what people are saying out there, right, online, and all the distractions. Or you've got to get tuned away from even what dark spirits or dark forces, or what Dr. Daniel Amen calls automatic negative thoughts. That's more of a scientific, words, because we all have them. We all have those thoughts of doubt that come in our mind. You got to change the channel, and you got to tune into God. All right, tune in, and you can do that by just sitting still and saying, God, I'm here. I'm open. I'm willing. I'm submitted to you. I want to know you. I want you to guide my life. And it's just that simple. And you just sit quietly. There's another verse in the Bible that says, be still and know that I am God. Be still and know. Be still and know. Okay, let's continue. We're almost done. If only you, God, would slay the wicked. David was like, he was like so intense, right? Because he was always he had to always be ready for a fight. And these people were after him, that evil King Saul and his soldiers, you know. David was really a courageous guy. If only you, God, would slay the wicked away from me, you who are bloodthirsty. They speak of you with evil intent. Your adversaries misuse your name. Do I not hate what? Oh, do I not hate those who hate you, Lord, and abhor those who are in rebellion against you? I have nothing but hatred for them. I count them my enemies. Search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know me and my anxious thoughts. See if there is any offensive way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. And there's a note here that says the theme, prayer for protection from those who slander or threaten you. Deliverance begins with concentrating on our future life with God. So sometimes you might be thinking in your mind, like, this person or these people, they hurt me. They hurt me. They did this to me. If you have experienced something, right, from someone that hurt you, that person in your mind is your sworn enemy. But here's the deal. You can't heal while you're blaming. You can't heal while you're blaming someone else. Now, I'm not saying you have to forgive them right away, because forgiveness is a whole nother level that comes as a part of releasing the pain and rebuilding yourself. But what I am saying is that these enemies, that if you call on God for protection, that God will protect you from your enemies. Whether they're enemies in your mind, that you need to seek refuge from their words, because sometimes people's words live in you long after what they've done. Or sometimes you may have haters, as they say, right now in the present. But realize that you probably do have enemies. And so realize who your enemies are, and pray for protection from their harm going forward. My name is Nella J. Thank you for sharing this scripture with me, and I'll be back tomorrow morning to share something else. Take care. Peace. Salam.